Trump blew his top over feeding attorneys. We're getting new reports of how Trump holds up under pressure, and it reconfirms what we've known for years, and that is he's a petulant child who kicks and screams when he doesn't get his way. The January 6th committee report revealed that Trump would throw food at the White House dining room wall when he received news he didn't like, which is why his lawyers in the 4 criminal trials will never allow him to take the stand, no matter how much he bullies them. He's going to bully them. He's going to say, let me, you're doing a bad job. Let me make my case on my own before the jury. The criminal attorneys are not going to allow this. Trump bulldozed his attorney, Alina Habba, in the E. Jean Carroll trial and insisted that she insist he be allowed to testify on his behalf. And it was a disaster. What was it, a week ago? Trump testified for 3 minutes. Most of that time was spent getting upbraided by the judge for not following instructions. Trump, exasperated, stormed out of the courtroom in front of the jury, repeatedly shouting, "This is not America. This is not America." Throughout the trial, Alina Habba was repeatedly told to control her client as he heckled the judge in front of the jury. Not the best way to convince a jury in a defamation suit that you're able to control what you say. He's in a defamation lawsuit and he cannot stop screaming and defaming. That's not how you win a defamation suit. Trump cannot regulate what he says because he lacks impulse control. Like I said, he's going to want to testify in the Manhattan criminal trial that begins next month. If the lawyers let him steamroll them, they will lose. They're going to lose anyway, but they will lose big time if he is somehow able to steamroll them and testify. Roberta Kaplan, E. Jean Carroll's attorney, who just won an $83.3 million judgment against Trump, has been opening up about Donald Trump's behavior at Mar-a-Lago last year when he sat for her deposition. Halfway through her deposition, Kaplan, E. Jean Carroll's attorney, halfway through it, Kaplan said it was time for a lunch break. And Trump said, no lunch break. Let's just plow through this. It's a waste of time. This deposition is eating into my schedule. And Kaplan said, rules of procedure dictate a 1-hour break for lunch. We're going to take it. And Trump got angry and petulant and shouted, well, good luck. This was at Mar-a-Lago. He says to Kaplan, good luck getting something to eat here at Mar-a-Lago because you're not getting served on the premises. So where do you think you're going to go to eat? And you think you'll be back in an hour after trying to find a place? And E. Jean Carroll's attorney, Kaplan, very calmly said, oh, no worries, Mr. Trump. Your attorneys are providing lunch for us. It's standard procedure for the defendant's attorneys to provide lunch for the plaintiff's attorneys during a deposition like this, so we're good. Trump, she said, turned beet red, grabbed a stack of papers and threw them against the wall like an angry little child, yelled and stormed out of the room. He is easily provoked. It's very easy to provoke him. And he's getting worse. He's getting worse. He flatters himself. He thinks he's able to control himself, but he can't. And the reason the judgment in the E. Jean Carroll trial was so high is because his courtroom antics served as further evidence that E. Jean Carroll was telling the truth and that he defames people. He defamed the judge. He couldn't stop defaming E. Jean Carroll. Now, at some point in one of these 4 criminal trials we're going to see this year, Trump is going to demand he take the stand. Unfortunately for him, he's got the nomination locked up. So he doesn't, the rallies, the fight, he's just going to have the nomination. And so he's going to obsess on these trials, and he's going to show up for them, and he's not going to be able to just sit there and let people expose him as a criminal, which he is. He's going to demand to take the stand. He is going to freak out when Stormy Daniels takes the stand, when Cohen takes the stand, when Mark Meadows. He's going to freak when Mike Pence testifies. He's going to demand that he take the stand the same way he demanded to take the stand in both civil trials. And both times, in the E. Jean Carroll trial and the civil fraud trial, it ended up costing him hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, what's coming up next are criminal trials. His bad behavior in these criminal trials won't result in higher civil penalties. His bad behavior on the stand or in the courtroom or outside the courtroom will convince a jury to send him to prison. He cannot control himself. He will convict himself on the stand or off the stand. Once those trials begin, he will convict himself. So he's got to win in November. He's got to win in November or he's going to prison.
It's time right now for the David Feldman Show.